unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. I do believe Oscar De La Hoya says this fight with Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis working with PBC could open the gate for future fights with PBC. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. Now, Oscar De La Hoya, of course, they did a 2-city press tour for major fight, mega fight. I'll be definitely talking about it on my channel a lot. 2023's super fight, Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. Now, during these festivities and press week and the fight week, Oscar De La Hoya, and I'm just going to paraphrase, he basically said with Ryan and his side, Dazn, and them working with PBC, this could open the floodgate for other future fights like Charlo-Munguia versus Charlo or Errol Spence versus Vergil Ortiz Jr. This is what Oscar De La Hoya is saying. Now, I disagree. You know, at the end of the day, I think Canelo hit the nail on the head. He says Oscar De La Hoya is really not Golden Boy. He was saying basically there's other people within that organization and infrastructure that pull the strings more so in the handling of the affairs in the business rather than Oscar De La Hoya. This is an interview that Canelo did a while ago with Graham Bensinger, and he says Oscar's not really Golden Boy, right? Oscar, we know, and I'm not trying to kick a man while he's down, but we know he's had his share of demons and outside interferences, things in his personal life. In fact, when he had Canelo, hey, get the payday, you want payday, I know that. He missed his biggest fighter that he's really ever had as a promoter, you know, excluding himself. And he missed their biggest fight to date, which was the Floyd Mayweather versus Canelo fight. And that was because Oscar was in rehab. So I'm not really optimistic. You guys, you know, say whatever you want, but I'm not optimistic that this opens some kind of newfound underground railroad or segue for a bunch of PBC and DAZN fights, because a lot of people, this may not be what people want to hear, but I don't care. This ain't the channel for you. I'm here to tell you my honest, unadulterated opinion. You either love it, hate it, I don't care. The bottom line is boxing doesn't really work that way. And if you really analyze how many fights have truly been made, you could probably count on one hand, maybe two, how many fights have been made intermingling of different promoters, like major fights, right? And I'm talking about Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, where one guy is with Showtime, one's with HBO. Of course, Mayweather versus Pacquiao. I want to sub to my promoter, I believe, brought by right? Mayweather, Pacquiao, fights like that. And Wilder versus Fury. Now Tank versus Ryan Garcia. Again, you could probably count on one, maybe two hands how many of these fights. Now, the similarity between all these fights is all of these fights are mega fights, not just good fights, because boxing fans can be very fickle and they can pretend, or maybe they are, but they can play naive. And it's this naivete that boxing fans exude, and it's just not realistic. Meaning there's only a handful of diehard watch everything boxing fans. That's the facts, right? It's more of a niche sport here in America, present day. So at the end of the day, it may sound like Charlo versus Munguia might sound like a colossal fight, because for me, I'm an avid watcher and hardcore boxing fan. And of course, I work at boxing. So they say if you do what you love, you never have to work a day in your life. So I'm fortunate. But at the end of the day, that's a great fight for boxing fans. That's not this universally known Charlo-Munguia. I don't even know if he speaks English. So you're not going to have necessarily a presser like Ryan and Tank where they're going back and forth and, hey, you got on the purse yesterday, and Tank is, I'm going to knock you out. They're going to have to pick you up in the ambulance. You know, you're not going to have this like firefight type of buildup, you know, especially if there's a language barrier, right, between Charlo and Munguia. Again, great fight. Would I love to see it? Absolutely. But in terms of the business of boxing, you know, it's not Ryan versus Tank. It's not a fight between Mayweather and Pacquiao. It's none of these, right? Even Wilder Fury, they had already established a great storyline with the first fight before Tyson Fury even got involved and got in bed with Bob Arum, Top Rank, and ESPN, right? So completely different circumstances. So De La Hoya putting this out there, that's to make his company look good and give hope. Again, I love, and one thing I've grown to love and respect about PBC is they seldom really talk about it in the inner workings. They'll just put out their schedule. And you have people like Eddie Hearns and Dazn, and you have also Oscar De La Hoya and Dazn. They seemingly want to talk about everything before the business is even laid to even make that happen. So it's just like trying to get fans to hold on to hope. Like, hey, go watch Virgil Ortiz versus this guy, and hopefully he fights Errol or Crawford. Or, you know, if you watch this and this, then maybe this will happen if Joshua beats Franklin. You know what I mean? And they'll talk about all these like future fights. Joshua got to get past Franklin, right? So why am I talking about Joshua Wilder, Joshua Fury, Joshua Ngannou? But this is what Eddie Hearn of DAZN and Oscar De La Hoya of DAZN, this is what they both do. I really respect how PBC, they kind of just put out their facts and their schedule, and it's less of this. So Oscar's going to have to show me that there's a bunch of fights that they can make in-house and things like that. He's talking about Virgil Ortiz. There's other deeper things, like he's talking about Virgil Ortiz versus Errol Spence, but you're talking about trying to sign Terrence Crawford. So what happened with that? And then if Virgil Ortiz beats Stanionis, you know, who knows? Who knows what the outcome is even going to be for that fight? So to me, I don't like all that preparatory talk about a bunch of stuff where there's too many variables. If Oscar De La Hoya can deliver a bunch of co-promotions between DAZN and PBC, show me. Don't talk about it, show me. Because anybody could say anything. And again, this is my opinion, I don't know how much PBC even really wants to work with Golden Boy, as opposed to they have an asset that they need to make a mega fight with Tank, and that's Ryan Garcia. So they're kind of forced to do business with you in this particular equation. But again, Ryan has done a great job of branding himself. He has his own fan base. He talks, he has the look, whatever. So the business makes sense. But that doesn't automatically mean and infer that the business is going to make sense for every other fighter. And if you look at it, PBC wanted Munguia just to come to Showtime, not a co-promotion, just like they sent Sean Porter over to ESPN and let them run everything. That wasn't a joint deal and joint promotion. And I think that's truly what they wanted with Ryan Garcia. But Golden Boy, needing and having this bait, they had to kind of sucker PBC into working with DAZN. Otherwise, they couldn't get the fight to happen. So they had to make that concession. But I don't know if this is a preferred concession, especially for other fights outside of this. Certain fights like Mayweather, Pacquiao, Tank, and Ryan, they get so colossal and so big where it would be foolish for the two parties maybe to not work with each other in those particular circumstances and situations. However, that definitely doesn't mean that lesser fights, in terms of lesser popular fights, less regarded fights, are going to have that same love, where Showtime and PBC is going to feel we have to do all this stuff and make DAZN partners and co-promote. Because again, as I said at the beginning of this video, there's only a handful of fights where it really occurred and you got this joint promotion. And those are usually fights where both parties stand to make a lot of money, even if they have to split the bill, so to speak, and work together, and both companies can eat. But if it's a lesser fighter, you're not going to really want to do a joint promotion. I'm telling you how this stuff works, because then you get joint credit. People are going to be like, oh, hey, shout out to HBO and Showtime. Versus if they put on a great fight like Mayweather Canelo and it was all Showtime, only Showtime gets the credit for it. But more so than credit with fans and stuff like that is money. Why not keep the money in-house and only going to you and building your empire? And beyond all that, it's just logistically harder to work with somebody. Like, imagine just even being a wedding planner, and then the man wants this wedding planner A, and the woman who's getting married to him wants this wedding planner, wedding B, and then they hire both of you, and you're both wedding planners, and now you're forced to work with each other when normally you have your own team, your own people, and you like to do business like you like to do it. You know, it's completely different variable. Now you got to plan a wedding collectively. Or just think of a movie director. If Steven Spielberg, I'm sure he just wants to direct Jaws, Schindler's List, direct War of the Worlds, right? E.T., Reese's Pieces, Elliot, right? He wants to just be able to work. He doesn't want to have to do a joint directorial, feature, and you got to work with this other director. And then I think a movie is a great example I just came up with, because just think about it. Steven Spielberg, let's say he worked with Quentin Tarantino to make a movie. Quentin's ideas could be completely different for, let's say they worked on Django. Steven Spielberg, his direction for the movie could be completely different versus Quentin Tarantino, because they're different people, different minds. Spielberg might not want the cuss words in there, or not as many. Quentin Tarantino, his style of directing, he wants a bunch of cuss words in there. You know what I mean? Or he wants the N-word said, or whatever the situation is. So anyway, when you team up with someone, it's all automatically going to create different friction. Look at boy bands or boy groups like Jodeci and stuff. I mean, how many of them really stay together? Like Drew Hill and Jodeci's and NSYNC and stuff. Usually you see like the Beyonce or the Justin Timberlake or whatever go on and do their own solo thing, because groups can be hard. And that's no different than boxing. Like if Showtime, they want to run business and do certain things with their fights. And same thing with Dazn, different commentators, etc. We unpack. Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new interactive and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.